The Kansas City Chiefs may reunite with a former friend in Steven Nelson. The Chiefs got a report from Ian Rappaport on Twitter saying veteran starting cornerback Steven Nelson is expected to visit the Chiefs on Monday for a potential reunion in a stretch run with a top contender. The visit, confirmed by his longtime agent, Josh Arnold, could land Nelson back with the team he started his career with. Could we see a former friend in Steven Nelson rejoin this defensive back group? Let's break it down, Josh. You are listening to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy. I'm a local Kansas City-based content creator who covers this Chiefs team on a daily basis. And today I have the luxury of being joined by my good friend Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com. And we are going to break down the possibility of the Chiefs bringing back cornerback Steven Nelson. So, Josh, I want to get your thoughts on this report. We're recording this late after the Chiefs were able to knock off the Chargers 19-17 on a last-second doink field goal by Matthew Wright. And so the Chiefs are high on life right now. They're 12-1, but there are some issues they need to, adjust, and they need to go out and solve some of the issues that are currently facing this team, and cornerback is one of those issues. So what do you think of Steven Nelson, and what do you think about a potential reunion?
So obviously I talked about Steven Nelson on my channel earlier this week. We have a little bit better of an idea, though, Michael, doing this now after the Chargers game of what the Chiefs cornerback situation is. We got to see them for another game. And also we saw another injury in cornerback Joshua Williams, who went out with the concussion. And that plays into this because regardless of the way you feel about Steven Nelson, and Steven Nelson I know is not very popular among Chiefs fans, the Chiefs need bodies at cornerback right now, Michael. We are desperate. And the fact that the Chiefs are considering Steven Nelson at all should tell you how desperate they are. And I also mentioned this in my video that I did, but this has been the year of reunions for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Kareem Hunt was like a guy I never thought that they would bring back, right? Steven Nelson would be even stranger than Kareem Hunt, though, because I thought that bridge was burnt because Steven Nelson did not have good things to say about Kansas City on the way out. However, I've always been sympathetic towards Steven Nelson because I thought he played under a terrible defensive coordinator in Bob Sutton. And after he left Kansas City, Michael, he actually ended up being a pretty decent cornerback for a while. He had some good years with the Steelers, was one of the best zone cornerbacks in the NFL. He had a stint with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he actually played as recently as last year for the Houston Texans and was pretty good. PFF, I believe, had him as only allowing a little over a 40% completion percentage when targeted. And so even though he's still sitting out there for a reason, I actually discovered after I made my video that he retired. I didn't even realize that he retired until after. So the Chiefs are technically calling him up out of retirement, which again tells you how desperate they are. But bottom line, Michael, I am in favor of them bringing in Steven Nelson because I think they need someone. And at this point, it's kind of similar to when they brought in DJ Humphries. You just need him to be an upgrade, right, over Wanya Morrison, Kingsley Suamataia. We just need Steven Nelson to be an upgrade over Nazeeh Johnson and Joshua Williams, and now Nazeeh Johnson and Keith Taylor, and Chris Roland Wallace. Like, we just need a little bit better play. Yeah. And who knows, maybe because he's a good zone corner. I know the Chiefs play a lot of man, though. But maybe, because Shamari Connor's been a weak link for this defense. And he plays a lot of the nickel. Maybe you put Steven Nelson there instead. And then maybe you give Keith Taylor more snaps at cornerback on the outside, see what he can do. And maybe that's an upgrade. That's kind of what we're hoping for at this point.
Listen, at this point, the Chiefs need bodies, like you said. And you can't really be picky when you have a guy like Joshua Williams, who's now hurt. But Nazeeh Johnson and Joshua Williams, for the most part, haven't been playable. You can't play those guys and expect to go far in the postseason. Opposing teams' quarterbacks have picked on that weakness and made it a sticking point for their offensive game plan. And it has been brutal to watch over the past couple of weeks. And so I think you could absolutely use Steven Nelson. You do mention the fact that he's a better zone corner than he is a man corner. But at this point, man, I think that he's that veteran, experienced guy that you can bring in. He can play man. It's not like he can't play man, but he's just better as a zone corner. He's a zone corner fit. But you saw in Pittsburgh, he was fantastic. I know a lot of Chiefs fans kind of got pissed off with the way that he left, and he kind of said some harsh words towards our old defensive coordinator, Bob Sutton. But Josh, we've been covering this team for a long time. We know Bob Sutton was trash. Bob Sutton was a horrible defensive coordinator who consistently did not put guys in the right position to be successful. And Steven Nelson, I don't know what podcast he was on, but he talked about the upcoming workout with the Chiefs, and he's excited to come in and, meet with Steve Spagnuolo and kind of get the vibes and feel out the energy of how he's going to be used in this defense. But I think this is a situation where if I'm Brett Veach, I'm bringing him in the building and I'm not letting him leave. At this point, he is the best option, the best alternative, and clearly cornerback is still a need because you saw over the trade deadline, they tried to get Marshawn Lattimore. And when they couldn't get Marshawn Lattimore, they didn't have a plan B. If Steven Nelson was the plan B to Marshawn Lattimore, it's a bad plan B. But here we are. So the Chiefs just have to do whatever is necessary to find ways to get better. And Steven Nelson might be the best cornerback available, even if he is coming from retirement.
And I do appreciate that Brett Veach is leaving no stone unturned in his search for help at the position. And it's a type of aggression that we haven't really seen from him before, as far as in-season moves. The Chiefs needed a receiver. He went out and traded for DeAndre Hopkins. The Chiefs needed a running back. He brought back Kareem Hunt. Again, a move we never thought he would make. And now he might bring back Steven Nelson. I never saw that coming, but Brett Veach is serious about going after this three-peat. And Steven Nelson, unfortunately, at this point, whether Chiefs fans like it or not, might be the best option at cornerback.
Yeah, and listen, at this point, I don't think that Chiefs fans really care who it is. They just want to see the Chiefs defense get better. And Steven Nelson, I think, is someone that can come in, not right away and be a good plug-and-play guy, but give him a couple weeks, and he should be a better option than Najee Johnson, Joshua Williams, Chris Rowan-Wallace, whoever you want to mention. I think that Steven Nelson is a better alternative. He played pretty good football in Houston last year. He's been a solid corner for really his entire career. I know we all got on him in 2018, but that Chiefs pass defense was historically bad. It wasn't just him. Let's not act like that defense was perfect outside of Steven Nelson. They had holes all over the place. And so maybe this is a chance to rewrite history and rewrite all those wrongs that were made back in 2018. Bring him back, and he's going to have a chance to contribute for a team that is going for their third consecutive Super Bowl. And so I do think he is the best option, and I think the Chiefs are definitely going to be considering signing him during today's workout. But before we go any further, guys, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this video, the Rice Real Estate Group and the Hollywood Casino. Welcome to the Rice Real Estate Group, Kansas City's premier partner in real estate. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, you will receive a tailored experience designed just for you. Specializing in residential, commercial, and investment properties, the dedicated team over at the Rice Real Estate Group helps guide you through every transaction, including navigating those short, complex sales. With a commitment to personal one-on-one service, they will ensure that you are supported every step of the way. You can achieve your goals with expertise, care, and a customized approach that truly makes a difference. Ready to make your next move? The Rice Real Estate Group is here to make it happen. For more information, call 816-819-9333. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet Sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Huge shout out to the sponsors of this channel all football season long in the Rice Real Estate Group and the Hollywood Casino. Go check them out. The links to their websites are in the description below. But getting back into the main portion of this video and talking about cornerback Steven Nelson, this, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. The Chiefs are going to have him in the building like they've had so many athletes beforehand. And Josh, how many times have we seen the Chiefs work out a player and he ends up not signing, going somewhere else, and being a successful player? J.K. Dobbins is a guy that comes straight to my mind because the Chiefs had an opportunity to sign him earlier on in the offseason. They didn't do it. He goes to the Chargers, and before he got hurt, looked pretty good. So I don't think this is even a question. You go out, you sign Steven Nelson, and you make this defense, and specifically that cornerback position, a lot stronger.
Yeah, and you need experience and you need bodies. And even if the Chiefs didn't bring in Steven Nelson and brought in someone else, the experience is the big thing. Okay. I look at his stats over the past several years. This is a guy that started a lot of games. You don't have that in your cornerback room right now. Chris Roland Wallace is inexperienced. Najee Johnson's inexperienced. Joshua Williams, he's played some games, but he's been in the doghouse for most of the year. Steven Nelson played in 17 games last year. He had 4 interceptions for the Houston Texans, 12 passes defended, and he had 63 combined tackles. You'll take that absolutely in this Chiefs secondary if that kind of production is offered to you right now.
That's more interceptions and tackles than your current cornerback too. That's more interceptions than Trent McDuffie. So clearly he is still a capable, cornerback, even if he is a veteran and even if he is coming out of retirement. But again, he raises the floor of that position group. And for a Chiefs team that is just a couple pieces away, Josh, from shoring up all of their weaknesses, you got to go out and make these type of moves. It's just, I don't even know why we're discussing it, because if the Chiefs do this correctly, when he's in the building today, they will sign him.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there in every single way. You have to lock him in a room and make sure he doesn't leave, because I don't know what you do at cornerback if it's not Steven Nelson.
Josh, I mean, if it's not Steven Nelson, it's Keith Taylor. And I don't want to live in a world where Keith Taylor is your number 2 cornerback in a playoff run. That's not going to go well. And so, like we were talking about on the post-game show, if you have a chance to get Steven Nelson in a room, if you're Brett Veach, you lock him in there and you do not let him leave until he signs with the team. So I think that we're both in agreement that Steven Nelson would make this Chiefs team better, and he should be a part of this Chiefs team if, the Chiefs decide that he's a good fit, which he should be. But Josh, that's really all we have for this video. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I just really hope the Chiefs sign Steven Nelson.
And hopefully, since this video is going up probably around 9 or 10 tomorrow, that we'll see some breaking news later on in the day that the Chiefs did the right thing and signed cornerback Steven Nelson. So Chiefs Kingdom, that is all we have for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe for more of the best daily Chiefs content on YouTube. Also, while you're at it, go subscribe to Josh's channel. The link is in the description, as it always is. Show Me Football and KC Sports Report have been grinding over the past couple of weeks. We're going to do more stuff each and every single week, giving you guys some of the best content that you're going to find on this app. Josh, you have anything else you want to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB, and then check out my work on ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com.
And all of that stuff, guys, will be linked in the description below. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. And as always, go Chiefs.